Last Saturday, as you may recall, Quebec's 5 major unions rallied together in Montreal to protest the CAQ's policy surrounding unions, Bill 3, Law 14. Now, some of this tackles how union dues are paid and what can be done with union dues. And also, and much more controversial, is the limiting the right to strike. Now, this is a big one. Many people are calling this overreach. The word authoritarian has started to be used. Caroline Senneville is president of the CSN union, and she is joining us now. Caroline, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, so before we get into all of what happened on Saturday, what the next steps are, let's remind everyone what Bill 3 and Law 14 are all about. What, in your opinion, is the government trying to do with the unions?
Oh, he's trying to make us weaker. And that's not because we have a right to form a union, we have a right to negotiations, and we have a right to strike. So what it's doing with Bill 14 is limiting our right to strike. And I know strikes are not popular, right? They're not even popular amongst our members because when you do go on strike, you know what? You don't get paid. So and it feels like -11 right now, and people are picketing when they're striking, and it's not a day at the beach. What Bill 3 is supposed to do is tell our members how to vote, how to run their unions, and it forces them also to pay a lot of accountants to verify our finances. This project, if it's adopted as it is, will put some unions in bankruptcy, actually, because it's going to cost unions between $30 and $50 million yearly just to hire accountants. And what it's doing is it's saying to our members, like, you don't own your unions. You're like a child or a minor that needs somebody over their children telling them how to run their union. And the idea behind forming a union is basically the contrary. It's basically, we want a say in our working conditions, in our workplace, and we're going to gather together and we're going to give ourselves a structure. We're going to vote on our representative. We're going to vote if we go on strike or not. We're going to vote on our working contract. And we do vote every year on our finances. We do that in a general assembly that is held every year.
I think I totally understand what you're saying. A lot of the pushback and the stories that do tend to make the headlines are when we get stories like, well, the unions took this person out and they had all this expensive wine, or they took these lavish trips. When they look at the sort of the limits of when things go too far or go off the rails. So the counter argument would be like there needs to be some kind of oversight into the finances.
Absolutely.
What do you say to that?
I agree with that, and that's why at the CSN we have a surveillance committee with 3 elected officials that are not on the executive committee that surveil our finances. And I can tell you, that's what I do. Every credit card receipt I have is examined by these people, and of course, stuff can happen, and it's to the unions to handle them. We know we've had one example over and over again in the newspaper, and they haven't found anything else. So
you understand the public perception, because you said something at the beginning of the. Yes, I just wanted. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, Caroline.
Do you think companies' presidents don't overspend, and when it happens, we need to have something to stop that, of course. But you know what accountants will do? We're going to pay millions of dollars for accountants. The accountant, as long as they have a receipt, they don't care. They don't put a moral judgment on the level of spending. They just say they'll tell us if the receipt is missing, but they won't tell you. I think the policy you adopted for expenses is not being respected. Our members tell us that, and that's why we have a surveillance committee with 3 elected officers.
So you don't want any oversight from the government in this. You're saying we can handle it. We've been handling it so far. That's what you're saying.
Yes, yes, and like I said, what it's doing, it would actually put some of our unions in bankruptcy, or would have to increase our union dues, because We have unions that have $4,000-$5,000 a year of income, and they're going to have to spend that on hiring an accountant.
Yeah, so
and that's less money to do our union business, to defend the people we represent.
So it's very interesting. Again, we're speaking with Caroline Senneville. She's the president of the CSN, the union there. What's interesting is off the top, you talked about that sort of public perception when it comes to strikes. Strikes are unpopular, right? The point of a strike is never that it's a popular thing. The people who are on strike are saying we need this to get done, and negotiations have blocked. So this is where we're at, right? But there's a negative perception there, especially if you think of the latest what happened with the STM, right? Okay. And then you add on to it the headlines that we just talked about, where there have been overspending, where there have been these moments, all of these headline grabbing, these lavish dinners, these trips, these hotel rooms that sort of push the public.
There were a lot of headlines, but only one thing that happened.
Yeah, Caroline, let me just finish this, sorry, and I'll get you to react to this. So I agree that, there could have been, the story could have been over-reported, but these stories need to be reported. So what I'm saying now, okay, so you have that sort of public perception, and there's a bit of a pushback there. But if we go into the right to strike now, specifically, right, because the dues are one thing and how that money is managed is one thing. And there is that sort of the perception that you're fighting against right now. But the right to strike, okay, and limiting the right to strike, explain to people why everybody needs, or why you think that everybody needs to be concerned about that.
Because it's a constitutional right. The Supreme Court of Canada has said that you have the right to form a union, you have the right to have a strike. And it's not a matter of popularity, it's a matter of having the rights, and you know what the Supreme Court said? It said that your working conditions is the core of your dignity as a worker, and you need leverage to improve those working conditions. So that's why it's so important. And we filed a complaint yesterday, Monday, and I'm sure a lot of will be big parts of that law will be declared not constitutional.
So it's because they'll say essential services, and the pushback to the government is essential services already covers that, right? That we don't need this extra legislation. But what are the next step if that train continues to roll through, right? If this continues to roll through, what are your plans?
Oh, we're all the unions. We're speaking a lot together, and we're gonna put this forward. We're gonna put our strengths together and try to make a stop to these policies that are not helpful for us and for the working people in general. Because you know what? Have you ever heard bosses asking for paid leaves, or for more vacation time, or for laws that protect the public, or every time we increase the minimal salary, they say it's too much, even though minimum wage is not a living wage. So putting down unions is putting down workers' voices in general. And when we do have increases in our working conditions, it helps all the workers having to have better conditions also, because if maybe your shop is not unionized, but if the shop across the street is, and your boss wants to hire people, it will have to take into account the salaries that are being paid, and it's not leveled by that.
We're running out of time, Caroline, but so there was a protest last Saturday. What's happening next?
More protests, that's for sure. We'll be very busy in all the regions of Quebec, and we'll lobby also politically. There's an election coming on, so we're going to ask the other parties how they stand on our constitutional rights, and see what's next.
Caroline Senneville, president of the CSN union, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm sure we'll chat again very soon.
Thank you.
Canadian women are looking for more out of themselves, their businesses, their elected leaders, and the world around them.
And that's why we're thrilled to introduce the Honest Talk podcast,
I'm Jennifer Stewart.
And I'm Catherine Clark. And in this podcast, we interview Canada's most inspiring women.
Entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, politicians, and newsmakers, all at different stages of their journey.
So if you're looking to connect, then we hope you'll join us.
Listen to the Honest Talk podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts.